Srimati Harsimrat Kaur Badal.
Sir, after the horrific incident in December 2012, 16th of December, where a young girl was gang raped so brutally that it shook the entire conscience of the entire nation, sir. And what the country witnessed all over the nation is for everybody to know. But sir, what was most surprising and saddening was the theatrics that was generated by the government in view of such a sad and horrific incident. So on one hand, they patted the police commissioner for doing a very good job. This is besides the fact that it was under the leadership of this police commissioner where thousands of protesters were not only beaten, lathi charged, but even water cannoned when they protested against this horrific incident and how nothing was being done by the police. So we saw the Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi shedding tears on the TV channel, and then finally when the Honorable Home Minister deigned to give an answer, his solution to the whole thing was to remove the curtains and the tinted glasses and to put on lights in the buses. Sir, all these things done by the government did not reflect the seriousness of the issue that was needed, the way it needed to be handled, and the issues which are plaguing the nation as of today, and especially New Delhi, which is not only the capital of the country, but like people before me have said, that it has now become the rape capital of the world, probably. Shame. So, jolted by the anger and anguish of thousands of youth and youngsters that took to the streets, the government took an easy way out and diverted the issue, or took the easy path, I would say, by setting up Justice Verma's committee to come up with suggestions on how to make a strong law that would deter this crime that is taking place in the nation against women. So the Justice Verma committee did a brilliant job and within a month gave their report. But the sad part was that the government then resorted to cherry picking, where they took whatever suggestions they wanted and disregarded the rest of them. So today, the sad part is that where the whole nation's attention was on Delhi and this rape that happened, just a few weeks before that, on the 4th of December, the government had brought in this bill, Criminal Law Amendment Bill. But to show how serious the perpetrators of crime are about the laws being made by this government, on the 16th of December, the Nirbhaya case happens. Then the government quickly brings in, and not only the Nirbhaya case, sir, I have a newspaper cutting which says that after the Nirbhaya incident, when the whole world was watching Delhi, 40 more cases of rape happened in New Delhi after the Nirbhaya case in the last 15 days of 2012. This is how seriously the government's implementation of the laws is taken. So after that, the government brings in an ordinance to escape the heat of the public anger. And so the ordinance has such an effect that in Delhi, 150 rapes took place after the ordinance came in, which shows that in 2012, there were 2 rapes which happened per day in Delhi. After the government's ordinance bill came in, these rapes left
Nothing will go in the proceeding.
In Delhi. So this is how serious
let her speak.
Action taken by the government, that there is no fear of law, and this is in spite of the fact that Delhi police comes directly under this government and the Home Ministry sitting over here. So, sir, after all these things happening, I think what the biggest joke is the flip-flop that happened after that regarding the age, sir. First, we bring an amendment that from 16 it goes to 18. Then comes the talk from 18 it is to be reduced to 16. I am just shocked and surprised that on what basis the government comes in without any thought going into this, sir. So I would like to say at the age of 16, when the government proposed to decrease the age of consensual sex to 16 years, today we live in a nation where there is no sex education in our schools. There is no education about contraception in our schools. But we are giving a law to the 16-year-olds that you may indulge in sex, it is your right, no police, no law, and no parent, no school can stop you. So, sir, when the youngsters start exploring themselves, do we not think what the consequences of this law is going to be? Is there not going to be an increase in teenage pregnancies? Sir, is there not going to be an increase in diseases like HIV, in things like cervical cancer? What are we telling the 16-year-old girl? You cannot get married till you are 18 years old. But yes, you can indulge in sex when you're 16 years old. And if you get pregnant, either you produce an illegitimate child whose future we cannot even think what is going to happen to the social fabric of our society, or you go in for repeated abortions, and which leads to all kinds of diseases and etc., which everybody can envision. So is this the thought behind the 16-year-old, sir? So I would also like to say that we often hear in newspapers how men, old men come into our country, or in our country, they go pay a poor family and marry their 18-year-old daughter. So what are we legitimating now? That now the old man can come, pay the poor family a few thousand rupees and have consensual sex with their 16-year-old daughter. This, we are legalizing this thing. On the other hand, sir, we talk about honor killing, where intercaste marriages is honor killing on the spot. Now when 16-year-olds start indulging in all this, do you think honor killing is going to go down, or there is going to be further spurt? So I fail to understand that when a government decides to implement a law, at least look into the consequences that it will cause, and don't be so superficial by just looking at what the media pressure is saying and what the Western countries are thinking. We need to see how the demography of our own country and the thought process of our own people. So, sir, while I appreciate this bill which is finally coming in, but I think there is a lot more to be done, I would like to still end on a positive note by suggesting a few changes, sir. First of all, I would like to say in section 326C, which is about the acid attack. Sir, we have got all the laws mentioned in this ordinance about once the acid attack is done. I would like to know the fear of living in an acid attack. If you don't give in to the boy, मैं तेरे मुंह में तेजाब फेंक दूंगा. You know the fear of living in that fear. You can't go out of your house. You can't go to work. There is nothing in this ordinance or this law which says that crime that is will be punishable under the threat which could cause these things also. So, sir, I would like this to be put in another ordinance.
Conclude.
Sir, I'm just mentioning a few points. Sir, section 354 deals with stalking. Just like I'm a mother of 2 teenage daughters, sir, I am also a mother of a son. If I want a law to safeguard myself and my son and my daughters, I would like that same law to safeguard my husband and other boys as well. So, sir, in this law of stalking, which I think is a necessary law, but the language needs to be tightened, sir. It says to watch or spy on a woman in any manner. Sir, how do you explain this word watch? How is it going to be derived in the law? And I feel that there is great scope for misuse. The language must be tightened so that it is not misused, because that is one of the biggest fears of this law that a lot of people seem to be thinking.
Thank you.
Sir, last 2 points. Second last, I would like to talk about 370 section about trafficking, sir. We often hear how men get married and then push their wives into the flesh trade. Something needs to be mentioned in this about adopted children and women being pushed into the flesh trade by their husbands. That must also be mentioned. And lastly, what I find most important, sir, there is nothing in the definition of rape in section 375 which mentions about physically challenged, mentally retarded, handicapped, etc. girls, sir. These are those women who have no voices. And it says that 97% of the rapes are done by people known to them. These women facing these heinous crimes within their family have no voice who they can even tell because they are mentally challenged or they are handicapped. So this must be put into this and something to ensure their safety because they have no voice. So with these words, while I welcome the bill, I say that this is just the first step in a journey of 1,000 miles that this country needs to do to ensure the safety and security of our women within and outside their homes. Thank you, sir.